Hey everyone, just wanted to chime in really quick and talk a little bit about what we've been discussing in the discussion section on D2L. And I think because this is the first week, I see a lot of interesting comments and people slowly trying to figure out, what's my voice in the classroom? How do I talk about these things? And I just want to bring up three really quick ideas that I saw, topics that maybe as you're writing your responses to the original posts, um, you'll consider things that you might find humorous or you might think as being insightful, or you might think they're dumb. But I thought they were interesting, so we'll start with that. So three things. The first one is this idea that content is becoming very personalized, and the examples that I've used in a lot of responses to people are the ideas of Spotify and Twitter, but we also see it on Amazon and YouTube and things like that. Essentially, what happens is you will get retargeted for items and inventory and products that you might not even know that you need. So my prime example is I use Amazon quite frequently, and I'll use it for daily supplies like sponges for the kitchen or toilet paper, things that we need around the house. And what Amazon will do is it'll tell me what products I need based on when I purchased the last batch of products and what they think is the next coming. Oh, you might need this product now. You're running out of rolled oats for your oatmeal in the morning. You might need more, which is a very interesting prospect because the way that we talk about communication technologies, oftentimes we're not thinking about the monetized version of it. So yes, we're thinking about how do we keep in touch with grandma and how do we tell someone on Tinder whether or not we should actually meet up with them. Do we give them our number? But there's also elements of it that are very personalized to you. And so we see that sort of transcended in a mass media perspective. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook. All of a sudden, messages are becoming very personalized to me that then have the potential to influence the way that I go about my everyday life. That's the first idea. The second idea is this idea that I've observed in a couple of YouTube channels in particular, and also some news sites. This idea of restricted participation. So we know there are a lot of really bad, terrible things that are said on the internet that we wish people could take back, and they're just really hateful and angsty. And I imagine it's just a bunch of people in a dark room, just like, yeah, I'm gonna show this person how stupid they are, and then they say really hurtful things. But we also see on the other end of that, people, YouTube content creators, actually restricting comments on their channel. So the only thing that you can see that is user driven are the likes and dislikes, and of course, when you share it on those various platforms, you see that too. But my comment with this, and something that you might want to think about, is blocking participation. So restricting YouTube comments, you can't comment anything, or you can't comment anything on, let's say, the Washington Post. Is that problematic? Are we infringing on some of the best benefits of using communication technologies, the fact that we get to talk about things, we get to have our own voice? Or do we think that it's probably for the best? Okay. And on the topic of Washington Post, and this is something that just irks me to no end, to let my personal feelings actually leak through here. The Washington Post now actually restricts content that you're able to view because they want you to sign up and log in with your email. And a lot of that is driven by their need, or their perceived need, to actually go about and see the kind of content that you're looking for so that they can retarget to you. So going back to that first point, very personalized. They want to know, what Michael Blight's doing, what's he looking at, what are the articles that he finds, so that they can send different products and information to me at some point. The third and final one is actually an anecdote, and I hope you'll get a kick out of it because I do. So in college, in my undergraduate college experience, I had recently gone through a breakup and I was single, and I had decided maybe if prospective people were stumbling upon my Facebook, they would want to know information about me, maybe potential romantic partner. So I started updating all my information, likes and dislikes, quotations, things like that. And typical things that I like, if you haven't caught on, the internet. Basketball, I'm actually a really big fan of rap music. I'm from Chicago. And I noticed the second I clicked my Facebook status from in a relationship to single, within the first week and slowly over time, I started getting targeted ads for dating websites, which at the time, the first few that I could think of were OkCupid, Match.com, and maybe a third one, which I can't remember. But over time, as I was updating these likes and interests, about a week went by and I started to notice that the dating websites started to change and shift. the more content I added about myself, the more the mathematical algorithm started to change and try to cater messages toward me based on what people of similar likes would be interested in within the platform. So again, about a week goes by, and I find on the right-hand side of the Facebook feed, I see blackpeoplemeet.com, which I didn't know if you knew this or not, but I am a white male. But based on my likes and my interests, the algorithm had thought, like basketball, like rap music, from Chicago, single, early 20s, black male. So I emailed them, and I had a very button-up response back, like, oh, we're sorry for this mistake. We didn't mean it. But it's interesting that, going off that topic, some people, a lot of these websites start to target us based on what they perceive mathematically our interests to be. And sometimes they're right. A lot of times I'm sitting on Amazon, I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I needed that product. Let's buy that product, right? But sometimes there's a fault in the system. But there's a fault in the way that we see traditional relationships too, right? Hey, you'd be great for Steve. You two would just hit it off so well. You guys should go on a blind date. Crash and burn. Okay, so again, the way that we see it, it's not simply that the overview of communication technologies is always wrong. We can spend so much time talking about how terrible it is. They shouldn't be doing that. The demassification of it is awful. But we also have so many pro-social benefits as a result of it. So I don't want you to think that we're just bashing CTs just to bash them. Traditional in exchanges and all that have issues too. Traditional interactions are just terrible. Go to a Starbucks, try to talk to someone. Everyone is annoyed, okay? Again, just food for thought as we're going through these discussions, as we're wrapping up conversations. By Sunday, please go ahead and make sure that you're posting on that. And otherwise, let me know if you have any questions.